Today's video, we're going to talk about PMAX Feed Only campaigns and an update regarding them. PMAX Feed Only campaigns being a PMAX campaign you run for an e-commerce business where you only run the ads via that PMAX campaign in the shopping placements on Google search. Not search ads, not display ads, which basically can be done with other campaigns that are standalone and meant for those ads, or just doing away with them altogether, which is most of it, because they don't do as well as the shopping placement. So if you want a great quick return on your ads, you run a PMAX Feed Only campaign that gets you the best part of PMAX, downsides of all the other parts that Google tries to shove down your throat when using PMAX, which is why they push it so hard. These are the need to knows about making this setup work for you, okay? I'm gonna go through the steps here on how to set this up, but also there's an update here that I haven't talked about ever at all before on this channel, that in and itself can also improve whatever results that you may have got with the information that I've already shared about feed only setups, or maybe you've already known about feed only PMAX campaign setups yourself. So I will get into the details on all these, starting with the list of things that define and make up a so-called feed only PMAX campaign setup. So generally speaking, a feed-only PMAX campaign setup only gets your ads running on the shopping placements on Google, which is the picture ads with the price underneath it, of course, where you have your box here. There's 8, pictures or 6 pictures at the top of Google. Product, product, and then there's a price underneath, $9.99. Those ads versus the text ads on Google, which are called search ads, of course. And then there's also Google has display ads that run on other websites outside of google.com. There's ads that you can run on YouTube through Google Ads, your Google Ads account, and so forth. A PMAX campaign by default is going to run your ads not only on the shopping ads, but the text ads on Google, which are called search ads, the display network, YouTube ads, demand gen campaigns, which run your ads on Gmail as well. And PMAX is meant to run all the different types of ads you could possibly run through Google Ads and all the possible placements to that one single PMAX campaign, versus before you would have to run a separate search, video campaign for YouTube ads, and so forth to run ads in all the available placements. Well, ultimately, ads in all the placements doesn't make sense for most businesses because they're not all profitable at the very least. But not only that, you will have, if you are going to run them all, you'd be better off running them in separate dedicated campaigns. That is to run the search ads in a search campaign, display ads in a display campaign, and so forth, because you have all the controls available to you. Whereas PMAX takes all the controls away. They're utilizing all the data from Google Analytics and your conversion data to steer that campaign, as well as any customer list that you give it to train on. Ultimately figure out where to run your ads on the internet that will get you a sale, which sounds nice at the surface. For a small business, it's death, because it's going to take so long for them to figure out how to get you a result that you'll be bankrupt way before you're ever profitable. And so you would be better off running these separate campaigns in separate places, given that yes, video ads can work when done in a certain deliberate way, such as running ads on just your competitors' channels, for instance, or getting in front of people who have searched for a product that you sell before on Google recently, so that if they're on YouTube, they only see your video ad when they've searched for a product that you sell recently, which is a common thing we do that will work to make YouTube ads work. But you can't do that necessarily with the PMAX campaign. So that's why I've always advocated for standalone quote unquote campaigns to run your other campaign type or ad types outside of shopping placements. Whereas though with shopping placements, you'll get better results with the PMAX Feed Only setup to run shopping placements than you will get running a standalone shopping campaign to run your shopping placements, because PMAX has so much machine learning involved in it. It does do great taking in and sucking up all the Google Analytics data that shows what people do on your site, how long they're on their site, your site, and so forth, and utilizing that to steer your shopping ads. Whereas standard shopping doesn't do that really, or not nearly as much. Therefore, you'll make more profit running shopping placements through a feed-only PMAX campaign setup than you will with the standard shopping PMAX setup. Even though PMAX does have its downsides to run shopping placements, given that if your Google Analytics account breaks, or the data stream in it isn't the way that it was before, your tracking gets broken or even slightly affected, PMAX goes haywire. It starts getting you on a bunch of mobile apps all of a sudden. Or if you're just running the feed only setup, it'll actually not show up in the places that it worked before. That is, people that they know is likely to buy your product. It'll go back into learning mode very, very easily, way easier than what a standard shopping campaign will do. So with all that said, that's why the feed only setup's right. Feed only setup to set it up now, to make sure that when you run the PMAX, to run your shopping placements, so you only get shopping placements, not display placements, search placements, and so forth. You gotta have no headlines, you gotta have no images, you gotta have no videos, which of course Google will force you to have one if you don't have one for them, unfortunately. No multiple asset groups, just one of course. No logo, just your product feed literally speaking by itself. So which essentially what this does, even though Google tries to make you think you need all these things, you could save your asset group without adding these things anyway, despite it. And essentially what you're doing is you're telling Google, run my ad everywhere, but you're not giving it the ammo it needs to run your ad everywhere, but the shopping placements. This has been, feed only PMAX campaigns are not something that I've invented. This came out when smart shopping campaigns turned into PMAX campaigns about 3 years ago now. And how we got around having our results that smart shopping campaigns, got back in the day, which were better than standard shopping, but without all the downside of running your ads, having your ads run on display network and so forth, and mobile apps that don't convert 99% of the time. So for that matter, though, the new development that I have for you that I've never mentioned on this channel before is you also can run on the display network. Your ads can run on the display network, even if you do all these things that I mentioned before. And before I talk about that, if you haven't taken a minute to subscribe to this channel yet, you should, because I go over all the stuff that you need to know to become a multi-millionaire running ads for your business, or more millions than you have already. I've got many millionaires that watch this channel, of course. It's the best information you're gonna find about how to make money with running ads on Google, as well as other online ad platforms that you're gonna find on YouTube, because it comes from somebody who spends 40 hours a week doing ad strategy at our firm to find out what works. I've been doing it over a decade, of course, and I just share on the weekends what works and what doesn't work. Ultimately, you can't find better information on YouTube that's practical and from somebody who actually manages lots of ads. So subscribe if you haven't already and do yourself a favor there. Beyond that, I also got a great blog on my site at guaranteedppc.com/blog. The blog has step-by-step instructions on how to make money using the strategies that I use for our clients to guarantee their results, literally speaking. You should check that out. If you like the channel, you're gonna like that blog as well. You can find that at guaranteedppc.com/blog. If you have any questions, by the way, about anything I'm covering here, you can always leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. So for that matter, new thing with the feed only setup is you wanna shut off dynamic remarketing in the Google Merchant Center account that you need to do a feed only setup, of course, because you gotta get your product feed into PMAX to run the shopping placements to begin with. But you want to certainly do this if you're getting too many non-Google owned and operated clicks on your PMAX campaign, which there's a report. If you go under reports on your PMAX campaign, you can actually see what percentage of your clicks are coming from outside of Google search, or should I say google.com. The ones that are coming from outside google.com itself mainly are going to show up as everything but Google owned and operated clicks when you view the Performance Max Campaign Placement Report that tells you what websites your ad shows up on. If we're talking about Google placements, technically they're going to include YouTube in that. But if it's not google.com or YouTube or Gmail, it's going to list it as another website, and they group Gmail, YouTube, and google.com placements all in as quote unquote Google owned and operated clicks. And if more than 10% of your clicks are coming from websites other than the Google owned and operated clicks, you can actually shut off dynamic remarketing in Google Merchant Center, which allows and basically gives Google the green light to run your ads on other websites, even though you haven't even uploaded a logo to your ad. So that's something else to consider, even though there's no guarantee that they will have your ad show up. But ultimately, if you're wondering how the hell, if you're browsing the web and you see an ad for your own company there, whereas there's typically a banner ad on a website that you're on, and there's what looks like little shopping ads within the banner ad, which are called dynamic remarketing ad. Usually there's different products that are from your product feed on that ad, and then there's a logo at the bottom. If you see that, the way that you get that shut off is you have to deactivate dynamic remarketing. Now, that said, dynamic remarketing is actually really good, and I don't want to demonize it at all directly. However, if Google is loading you up and gorging itself on display network clicks, you can get rid of this to get rid of that problem. That said, I will typically keep dynamic remarketing because I want to do dynamic remarketing for my brand still, given it's so powerful to have an ad that has the last few products that somebody's looked at on my website on the banner ad. At least to run that ad to people who've been to the shopping cart and added something to the shopping cart but did not buy yet. That will typically almost always be profitable to the company doing that, and probably doing that for anybody who's been on the site for at least 2 minutes, which indicates that user's 10 times more likely to be a customer than somebody who hasn't, roughly speaking. And I'm still going to do dynamic remarketing to that group of people. If you are in a market where people buy often again and again, like supplements, then you would also want to run that dynamic remarketing ad to people that are fitting that audience category as well. So yeah, you could get rid of dynamic remarketing in Google Merchant Center and have your PMAX campaign run a higher percentage of clicks just on Google search by itself or google.com by itself, but you'll be getting rid of the capability to do dynamic remarketing ads for people who've been to your site already at least a couple minutes, or at least got to your cart, or at least bought from you again. So for me, in most situations, the downside of losing the capability to do an ad dynamic remarketing as a part of our overall advertising funnel, that downside's greater than the benefit of not having my PMAX Feed Only setup campaign have more display clicks, or clicks that are not, from Google owned and operated properties itself. So that's the kind of new revelation, if you will, as it comes to PMAX Feed Only campaign setups. If you want somebody to make your PMAX work, really anymore, yes, it seems simple at the surface, but the better quality data you have feeding into your ad account, both from GA4 and your conversion tracking, the better the PMAX results are going to be, and it needs to be set up ultra clean and good, including tracking phone calls, form fills. That data makes a big difference in your PMAX results. Maintaining it, testing it at least weekly so that it's always verified as good. Having backup goals to work with so that if your goals ever break, your campaign won't also break while you're trying to fix your goals again. And then on top of that, knowing the dance of knowing when to adjust your target ROAS or target CPA, when to adjust your budget, how much to adjust it, because the typical person will adjust it too much or too little, and then their campaign goes back into learning mode because they adjusted too much. The results go in the shitter for 2 weeks because they just did not know, oh, I can't do that. I can't raise my budget 20% when Google says, to raise my budget 20%, I should have raised it only 10%. This is just stuff you learn by managing 50 of these different campaigns, and just how to exactly work them to not get your campaigns to go back into learning mode, and therefore your results to go up and down as they're going up over time. So you have stable results short term while still having the maximum return that you could possibly get long term as well. Reach out to me if you're interested in having the best person you can have managing that campaign. That is me. I will help you do that. And we will not charge our clients fees until we get you a certain minimum lift in your profitability from that campaign, in excess of what our management fee would actually be. If you just want to ask some questions, I've been doing coaching and consulting to individuals who reach out to me and through my website from this channel. If you're wanting to do that, reach out to me at guaranteeppc.com. We can have and set up a call for that. I also have ad templates available. If you would like to get one of our ad templates that work for a certain niche market that you're in, that we've been in already, which we've been in over 100 different niche markets in the last over a decade running this advertising firm, Guaranteed PPC, We can give you the templates, the ads, the landing pages, all of it, and you use it for yourself and get the results we've got in another city or country that you're in, that it's all fair game to use it in your market. So for that matter, just so that you know, I have a group where I've been interacting with the lads and the women here that watch this channel in my Discord group, where we're talking about the strategies I talk about on this channel, and I'm answering questions there, and people are talking amongst each other about these strategies. You can find a really good crowd of people there. Find the link to my Discord group that I set up for this purpose in the video description and join it. In the group, there's a free PPC course that I give you there that's actually really amazing. That's totally for free just for joining the group. Furthermore, I'm also looking to invest in companies right now. If you have a company where you think you got a great product or service but not the best advertising, and you want the best advertising, I will come in and set up your advertising personally and give you tens of thousands of dollars of advertising spend to make your ads work or work better than they are. All that our company and myself is asking from you to do this is to give us a piece of your company and percentage of your revenue growth moving forward at your company as a result of what we're going to do for you to grow your sales. We've been taking somewhere between 1 and 10% of the gross increase in revenue of the company in exchange for doing this, but you get a large cash infusion up front, invested into ad spend to get your ads rolling, and then we continuously roll the profits that we're gaining, parts of it back into more ad spend to keep the sales growing, of which we've done this with several companies now to date, and they're generating millions of dollars a year in additional sales and profit as a result of hooking up with our firm and us investing in them. So if you would like to see if we can invest in you, reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I'm gonna wrap it up with that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. If you want to see another video, click here. It is one of my best ones.